So which two bags is this Kelly 28 going to replace? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So last video I did reveal that I had just purchased this Kelly 28 in the Togo leather Palladium hardware. And oh my gosh, she's such a beauty. I did mention that there are several parts to this series because there's just so many things that happened getting this bag, and I did want to cover all of those aspects in detail because I feel like sharing all of these turmoils helps you guys. Like, I know a lot of you are in this community, you're watching these YouTube videos for information, and that is what I like to do. I like to provide information, not just unbox. I like to provide the thoughts that go behind these purchases. You know, I like to share with you guys how I went about purchasing things. And then if anything happens when I try to resell or anything like that, that is also something that I really want to share with you guys. So that's why this is a three-part series. I did mention this bag will be replacing two big handbags in my collection, and this video is going to be discussing that. Before we get into this, as always, I like to introduce myself to all those who are new here. My name is Kim, and I love sharing with you guys all of my luxury indulgences. That includes unboxings, reviews, and then any tips and tricks I learn along the way. So with that said, let's get right into this video. All right, so this bag is going to replace, obviously, this Kelly 28 in the box calf. I love this bag. It's so gorgeous, and I found it at such an amazing deal. It's really hard to let go, but the reality is I don't get to use this bag a lot. I just don't. It just does not fit my lifestyle the way that I want to. It does not fit the environment that I live in because this bag cannot be rained on, and it rains quite a bit here. So unfortunately, even though I think this is the most stunning, gorgeous bag I have ever had in my possession, I am going to let it go, and I am going to use this and just carry this without hesitation. So this bag will be discussed in my future third part because there is a lot to discuss about this bag and the process of selling it. And I do want to share that with you in detail. But in this video, I'm going to talk more about the second bag that this beautiful new purchase is going to replace. And brace yourselves, guys. I might get a lot of backlash, but here we go. I sold my Chanel Jumbo. I know. Okay, so the reason I wanted to discuss this in detail is because, no, I sold the Chanel Jumbo initially, and I regretted it so much that I repurchased it. And then I thought, oh, this is going to be a forever piece in my collection. I'm never letting this bag go again. And the same thing happened. I just did not use that bag. And the days that I used that bag, I changed out of it very quickly and was happy to do so. The Chanel Jumbo is, I think I am in love with the idea of owning the Chanel Jumbo and the idea of owning a classic flap, but that is not enough reason to have that in your collection. Amelia Rose's Closet did an amazing video. She talked about why you should not get a classic flap, and all of her reasoning was just spot on, right? You hear in this luxe community that you need a classic flap in your collection. You need at least once. If you're a collector, if you are a connoisseur, if you love luxury bags, a classic flap is a no-brainer. You need one in your collection. I know that a lot of people get the classic flap and are so in love with it and use it, but I hear so many more stories of they don't use it, but they just cannot let it go, right? Because it is that kind of bag, right? And I think that that idea of owning a classic flap was actually the main reason why I was hanging on for dear life. And I think that repurchasing the bag had a lot more to do with FOMO than it did with actually loving the bag. So the first time I let it go, I was quite sure with my decision. I thought, you know what, I'm just not going to use it because I have my Kelly and the Togo and the Palladium, And I was so happy with that, and I let it go. And then that FOMO hit because of the price increases, because that's when all those crazy price increases started happening. And I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? I will never be able to add this back into my collection, even if I wanted to. And now thinking on it, it was FOMO. I was just scared that I would never be able to own another classic flap. And that's why I jumped at the chance to purchase another classic flap from Rue Street Bags. And I absolutely felt so satisfied in getting that bag back and looking at it and having it in my collection. But the reality was, again, I would have to kind of force myself to use the bag. I'd be like, oh, it's so pretty, I'm going to use it today. And I would use it, but then I would quickly change out of it. Whereas the other bags, like the Loewe puzzle, it takes me a while to change out of that bag because I do not change out of bags that often. I just use the bags that are easy to use and I love to use. And the classic flap in the jumbo was just not that. And so when I decided that I really wanted to get this bag back in my collection, I honestly only have to sell this. Like, I have the funds to make up the difference for purchasing this bag. But I knew, like, when I got this back, I would not use my jumbo even more because it's the same black with palladium. It's similar capacity, and this one is just so much more me. And I know that because of my experience with the 32. Of course, I did not own this bag in the 28 size before, but I know the way that I use my Togo in the 32, I would just grab that anytime I needed to carry a bag the size of the jumbo. And the jumbo is just, it's not an easy bag to carry. So yeah, when I decided that I was going to get this, I immediately decided, okay, I'm going to let that jumbo go. I know for a fact that I am not going to regret it this time because I already did that. I already went through that. And so this decision was a lot more easier than the first time to sell it, right? Because I know I'm not going to FOMO over it anymore. I know what the prices are. I know what they are retail. I know what they are pre-loved. And I am honestly not going to FOMO about that bag. I know that for sure because this bag is really the one that I will probably carry when I need that. So yeah, that's the second bag that this bag is replacing. So right after I made that decision to let the jumbo and this vintage Kelly go in order to purchase this, I saw Rue Street Bags post in her stories. She said that she is now taking consignments. She was going to take Chanel bags, 20 series and up, and Hermes bags. And immediately I said, oh, I should contact her because I know her. Like, I've purchased my Chanel jumbo from her before. I know the prices that she lists them at, and I know how quick the turnover is when she lists items. And so I immediately reached out to her and I said, hey, can you sell my bag that I purchased from you? Because I did purchase that jumbo from Rue Street Bags. Her name is Jazz. And she said, absolutely, she would. She was quite sure about the price I was going to get for my jumbo. She said for the vintage Kelly, because, you know, conditions and all that she needed to see in person, that she would decide upon. But she said she was quite sure she would be able to get me a certain amount that sounded great to me. And her fees were, honestly, they were so reasonable. And I decided on the spot that yes, I was going to go through her to sell it. Now, normally I sell items that I own on my own through Facebook groups. However, because these two were such high-priced items, I decided to go with her because she has so much more reach than I would have if I were doing it on my own. Even me as a buyer, I would go through a consigner who I could trust rather than purchase from an individual because I don't know anything about that seller. What if I'm scammed? And the consigners who are well established have that. They have that reputation and they have that that history. And so people are more people feel more secure going through those consigners. Thus, the consigners like that will be able to get a better price for your items sometimes. And yeah, like I said, Jazz and I discussed it, and I was very happy with the prices that she said she would be able to get for me. And so I sent the 2 bags to her, and the jumbo sold like that. It sold within a week, and I did profit from selling that jumbo, and I'm very, very happy about that. The Kelly, on the other hand, we came upon an obstacle, and that is what I am going to discuss in the third part of this series. On top of that, the reason I have this bag back in my hands is because Jazz had to go overseas back home due to a family emergency, and so she, rather than holding on to this bag for about a month, she decided to send it back to me, and she sent it back to me at her cost, so I was fine with that. But yeah, something happened, and it's now resolved, and I will be selling this again through Rue Street Bags in about a week, because she does come back in a week. And yeah, the whole story will be in part 3 of this series. But yeah, the 2 bags that this beautiful bag will be replacing is my Box Kelly and my Chanel Jumbo, and honestly, I have no regrets. I'm so, so happy with this bag. So if you're curious about what happened with my vintage Kelly, then please subscribe to this channel. This is a good time to do it, and put that notification bell on so that you will be notified when I upload that video. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that thumbs up button. And with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next one. Take care, everybody.